it is March now, which just seems crazy. Whew, wow. Which means spring break is just like almost here because it's March, and so that always means spring break. And then after spring break, it's just like zoop. We're going to be on a slippery slide right into the summer. So yeah, if you're behind in any of your classes, it's good to get caught up before spring break because it never seems like there's enough time after spring break with all the testing and then into the school year and seniors leave early, all that kind of good stuff. So it just gets a little insane. So Deacon's looking forward to that, especially here. Yes, seniors leave early. Get me out of here. We're, we're getting there. We're getting there fast as we can. We're getting there. So, all right, let's take a look at what we got this week in our class. Okay, going to our grade screen. We should be done with Module 4 now. We had the last CSV project last week with the Battle Royale stuff, all that kind of fun stuff. I got a lot of grading to do, by the way. I don't know who's turned in what. I hadn't even looked yet, but and I know Vivian's been down for the count, but she's fighting her way back. But we'll get there. So we are starting this week our Module 5, Computer Vulnerabilities, which I love this unit because it's a passion of mine. It's that kind of fun stuff. So we're going to go look at Module 5. So I'm going to close this folder, open up this folder, and we're going to talk about computer vulnerabilities this week, cryptography next week, encryption, all kinds of good stuff. But this is the future of computing right here. Hackers, cybersecurity. The more and more things become automated around us, the more opportunities there are for hackers to create havoc, create destruction, and have all kinds of problems break up here. So, according to Hollywood, hackers lurk in the shadowy corners. They wear black hoodies. They break into computer systems with a few simple keystrokes. I always love that in these movies and stuff. I can break into that. I'm in. It's like, wow, is it that easy? No, that's movie hacking. But in reality, hackers are just relentlessly and maliciously searching for weak spots in the system that can be exploited. If there's not a weak spot, then they'll try to create a weak spot. So these weak spots can put a system in danger of being hacked. But what exactly makes the computer vulnerable? Well, to understand this, we got to think like a hacker. So that starts with getting to know hackers a little bit better. So let's look at some myths and see what the truth really is. All hacking is bad. No, that's not true. In fact, the federal government encourages it with their Hack the Pentagon program. If you want to try some hacking, try to hack the Pentagon. Yeah, and you're thinking that's going to put me in federal prison, right? Yeah, they pay a bounty for every bug. If you can hack the Pentagon and tell them, "Hey, I was able to get in the system. Look at this information I got. Here's how I did it," they will write you a check because it is hard as a programmer to write something that's totally, you know, foolproof from getting into. So the way you find breaches is when they happen. So if you can pay people to show you how to get into your system illegally, you can fix it. So the Pentagon has a Hack the Pentagon program. Many businesses also hire hackers as a quick and efficient way to tear apart their own computer code, catch problems, build more secure systems. These are known as white hat hackers. I love this phrase, white hat. It's an ethical computer hacker. It's a computer security expert who specializes in ensuring the security of an organization's information systems. This comes back, where the name comes from is back to the old cowboy and western movies. They used to be all over the place. And in the cowboy and western movies, the bad guy would be wearing the black cowboy hat. So that way the whoever's watching the movie can identify when somebody rides into town, you know if he's good or bad. The hero would be wearing the white cowboy hat, so they call black hat hackers the bad guys in hacking, and white hat hackers are the good guys. Myth: hackers are all the same. That's not true either. Hackers attempt to violate computer security, but they do it for different reasons. White hat hackers do it in order to fix things, right? Black hat hackers can do it for just to be malicious, because they're mad. They can do it for personal or financial gain. They can do it for notoriety or just for the thrill of it, just to see if they can do it. Let's see, myth: a strong password will deter hackers. Well, there is truth in having a strong password can help, but it will not always stop a truly motivated hacker. Hackers rely on a variety of methods to break into a system. They could be cracking passwords, but they might overload a system or find a security flaw to go around the password. So it's not necessarily going to help. Myth: only computers can be hacked. Truth: nearly everything electronic can be hacked, partly because our world today is so connected. It is possible for hackers to gain access to smart appliances, video cameras, cell phones, wearable devices, cable boxes, much, much more. In fact, I saw this story in the news just last week. There's this young dude that, he's a computer nerd. He's a nerdy dude. He bought one of those, and you may have one of those vacuums in your house, right? A little robot vacuum that it'll drive around on its own. It'll make a map of your house, and then you can program it. Hey, vacuum this room at this time, and you can program your little vacuum to vacuum the house. Like mine, in 2 hours at 11 o'clock every morning, mine vacuums the living room and kitchen and dining room. So when we're not home, I set it to vacuum every single day. And this guy bought one. Well, being a computer nerd, he wanted to build a remote control. I'm gonna hack in. I'm gonna make a remote control, and I'm gonna be able to drive my vacuum around with this remote control. It's like, okay. So he figures out the computer language it uses is, and he writes this program, and he hacks into his little computer vacuum robot. What he discovered when he starts running his program: oh my gosh, I've got access to all the robots. All of that. He had like 700 of that same brand. He was hacked into like 700 of them in like 26 different countries. He had the maps of people's houses all over the world on his computer when he hacked into his vacuum robot. There was some security flaw that no one thought about when they built the programming for this robot. That when he hacked in there, he had access to like everybody's vacuum robot. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? If he turned them all on and everyone's vacuum started going, like, wow, what's going on? But he actually reported that to the company, and they have fixed that now. But that's how a lot of these security flaws show up, is somebody discovers it. Fortunately, this wasn't someone that had a malicious intent, because it's like, I don't know if I really want everyone having my floor plan, although it's available at the courthouse. You can go get floor plans of people's houses, but that was just kind of a funny coincidence that he's like, whoa, I'm controlling a lot of robots and vacuums. So that just kind of proves this point. Nearly everything electronic can be hacked. I bet no one thought about their vacuum cleaner being hacked by someone else and being able to vacuum your house for you. All right, let's go to page 2. Under attack. Hackers may have a reputation for being unpredictable, but their tried and true methods of attack are anything but. They're not. Let's take a look at a few methods that they use to attack vulnerable systems. They use a lot of the same methods over and over again. So, a denial of service attack, a DOS. You hear about these in the news from time to time. Either a DOS attack or a DDoS attack. It's a dual denial of service attack. It's basically where they attack a website by sending thousands and thousands and thousands of requests to that website at the same time. It basically overloads it. Most websites can't handle thousands of people accessing the website at the exact same moment. So they try to send a bunch of requests, for downloads or whatever the website allows you. And they're basically just trying to make it overload and shut down. Right? The server's stressed, users are stuck, the pages won't load, it's impossible to gain access to that content. And it's usually, someone like, PETA or someone, one of these people for national treatment by animals, attacking some, like a hunting website, or it's usually a political type thing. A lot of times with a DDoS attack, denial of service attack. It's a DOS attack when they use their computer to send all these requests. It's a DDoS attack where sometimes hackers will hack into other people's computers and create a network of computers and have all those computers attack the same website. So that's a DDoS when you got it coming from a whole bunch of different locations attacking the same website. But that is a common method. And you'll hear about that sometimes in the news where some website goes down because of a denial of service attack. There's also malware. This is software that's used to gain access to a system using viruses or ransomware. That's a virus program that'll lock up your files, and you have to pay them money usually in order for them to allow your files to be released back to you. This is often disguised as an attachment in an email or some kind of link that you click on that looks legitimate, but it installs this malware in your computer when you click on it. And allows hackers to take control of your systems, right? Because it installs something in there. And sometimes you may not even know it until suddenly you notice your computer's doing things that you're not told to do. And it's like, oh man, some malware must have got installed when I didn't know it. Phishing. Phishing is a hacker's attempt to get a user to install malware or divulge personal information. These are probably some of the most common ones because you'll get an email that looks legitimate. It'll say, oh, your PayPal account is locked. To unlock it, you need to log in and answer some questions. And it'll be a fake PayPal page. When you log in, that's all they really wanted. They wanted to know what your login was. So then they can go to the real PayPal and use your information to log in, steal your money. So they use phishing as a way of prying on your psychological vulnerabilities. Looks like messages from companies or people that a user may know, like click here or we'll close your account, or we detected fraud, log now to fix it. Oh man, I better log into my PayPal to fix it. And if you use their link, you'll be logging into a fake PayPal and giving your information away. Like, oh, I have a couple of these right here. Here's a PayPal email that my wife received here at school. And it says you ordered item 495TH388. PayPal, here's an invoice receipt. Has an invoice number, invoice ID, name, product, some 4 terabyte gaming SSD solid state drive. It's a hard drive. It says you paid $442. Thanks for your order. If this order is placed without your authorization or you have any query related to your order, you can reach out our 24/7 hotline. Now, if you look up PayPal or some company that sells hard drives, this is a fake number. This is a scammer's number. They want you to call them, and then they're going to scam you out of money by making them think that they gave you your money back. But this is fake. She never ordered anything. She wasn't charged $442, but people look at that and they think, oh, I was charged $442. And then you call them and they scam you and you end up losing money. But there's lots of signs when you see these things that, well, this has got to be totally fake. For one thing, you can look up PayPal's number and you'll see it's not that. This comes from some Gmail account, not an actual business. Let's see. I looked up this product. It doesn't cost $442. There's all kinds of just little flags you can look at. And here's what I really like. Which receipt? Name one receipt you've ever received in your life that says, here's your receipt. By the way, if you didn't order this, call us. You never get a receipt that says, here's your receipt. If you didn't order this, call us. That right there says ding, ding, ding flag. No, your receipt just says, thank you for your purchase. Here's your receipt. So that's a big scam anytime I see that. If this order is placed without your authorization. So, and a lot of times there's other misspelled words or bad English. Here's a Facebook scam. This is a different kind of scam where people get money. Hey guys, we're clearing out items from my dad's house. He got moved to aged care. He doesn't need these things. We have a truck and can deliver it. And here's the thing, first come, first serve, but I'm not home till the 15th. But I'm not promising to hold on till then. So just pay me a deposit. Let me know what you want and pay me a deposit. And then when I get home on the 15th, you can come and check it. If you don't like it, I'll give you a deposit back. Otherwise, you can pay then. Well, you think, okay, well, that looks pretty good. And you can contact them and they'll say, yeah, I'm not there. Just send it by PayPal or, Cash App or however. They'll ask you to send them a deposit. and then they'll disappear because this is fake. You can search on here. Go to Facebook and search "Hello guys, we're clearing out items," and you'll find like 50 posts that start that way because they're all fake. Anytime someone says I'm not going to be home until the 15th, but you can pay me a deposit now, it's like no, that's a scam. That's a scam. If I can't go physically see it until sometime later, but I've got to pay you now, if you try to set up an appointment to meet on the 15th, they'll set an appointment, but they're gone. They're not. This is all fake stuff. So watch out for all these kind of scam stuff. All right, here's another type of hacker tactic: an advanced persistent threat, an APT. So when a hacker uses an APT attack, the goal is to remain hidden and gather information. So it's a way that they access your computer, but they don't do anything obvious. You don't notice anyone's on your computer. They're just gathering information. This type of attack allows a hacker to have ongoing access to a network, and they'll try to collect confidential and high value information over time. These often target organizations that have sensitive information, like national security or defense entities, banks and financial institutions, manufacturing companies. Maybe they're trying to steal trade secrets. So they just get in there and just don't try to cause any havoc and see how long they can be in there and just slowly copy files as they find things. So here's a programmer spotlight. Pretty cool. Mark Maffrey. I think that's how you say. At age 17, he was a runaway. He was a high school dropout, and he was a hacker who tell you he was up to no good. That all changed when he woke up to a government raid and an FBI agent holding him at gunpoint one day. They tracked him down, his hacking. That experience was a catalyst that transformed him from a black hat hacker to a white hat hacker. He went on to testify before Congress on security issues and identify security vulnerabilities for organizations including Microsoft, the Department of Defense, and Prudential Financial. Today, he is the chief security architect at FireEye, which is a anti-malware company where he spends his days trying to get ahead of the bad guys. So once he got arrested by the FBI, that made him say, "Oh, I better stop this." But he loved hacking so much, he found a way to do it legally, stopping hackers and hacking into companies and letting them know what's wrong. And if you're going to hack into a company and tell them what's wrong, better make a deal with them first because it's illegal unless they hire you to do that or give you permission to do that. But that's one. There's a white hat hacker I follow here. His name is Pierogi. Scammer Payback is his YouTube page, and he deals all the time with these scammers. And his guys, I've been following him for years and years, but over the last year, he has developed his own viruses. They've created their own virus. They used to just hack into the hackers' computers and delete all their files and make the computer worthless, or where they lose all their customer information, all these people they're scamming. Now he gets into the computers and he installs viruses that'll do all kinds of funny. They do things just to make the hacker's life miserable. Like they'll put in a virus where when the hacker starts typing, it doesn't type the same letters you're hitting. It's just gibberish. They'll be typing a word and it'll YK exclamation mark. It just puts all these crazy stuff, and hammers will be deleting it and typing it again, deleting it. And it's something random every time, so it makes their computers pretty worthless while that's on there. They got one that makes their mouse shake like this, so they're trying to click on something and their mouse is doing this all the time. So they're watching the hacker and they're just laughing about it. But they do all kinds of things. They have totally locked up computers to where you have to totally wipe the disk because of the virus they installed on these hackers. So they are white hat hackers. The guy himself, Pierogi, he is a cybersecurity expert. That's the field he works in. But I think he's full time with this website now, attacking hackers' computers, installing viruses on them, calling them on the phone. You get these fake emails, those PayPal. He calls them on the phone and hacks into their computers while he's on the phone with them, and then just destroys. And he'll find when he gets on those, a lot of times they're in a call center in India, and there may be 20 people in the room, and he'll get access into the network where he can see all 20 of their computers and install this virus and wipe the whole thing out. He'll copy all the files off their computers, turn it into the police force in India, and sometimes they get raided. Sometimes they get the security police do and raid them, but sometimes the cops over there are paid off by these hackers who are making thousands and thousands, and they'll pay the cops off. But so he just destroys their networks. He's a white hat hacker. It's funny. He records it. He does live, sometimes 3 hours a day, live messing with these hackers. But I like going back and watching his videos to see how he's making their life miserable to where they can't really successfully hack anyone anymore. So, all right, page 3. The cost of cybercrime. So the effects of cybercrime go way beyond hacking into and damaging computer systems. These type of attacks also cost individuals, businesses, and governments money, and a lot of it. According to the U.S. Council of Economic Advisors, they think it cost the U.S. economy between 57 and 109 billion 10 years ago. And by 2020, they estimate 128 billion. Let's see today. Let's see, based on 6 reports, look at there, $639 billion annual cost of cybercrime in the United States. That's the predictions from last year. Over $500 billion. It's a huge, huge problem. This is the future of computing. If you can get into cybersecurity, that's where the money's going to be. Because if we're getting close to $1 trillion stolen, they'll pay you a lot of money to stop it from being stolen. So that's really where the dollars are. What is the economic impact? Cyber crimes are more common and increasingly sophisticated, especially with AI now. Hackers are targeting organizations that have sensitive data, trade secrets, leading edge research and development, and these type of attacks can lead to a number of costs. Loss of revenue, they may demand large sums of money before unlocking access to computer systems. They may leak trade secrets, stealing intellectual property, damage a company's business model, loss of sales. Cost of equipment, they can actually damage equipment. Then you got to fix all that and replace the equipment. Damage to reputations. News spreads fast. Companies can lose their customers' trust in business if they're hacked, and that certainly happens. Decreased productivity. Attacks against your infrastructure like transportation system or power grids. They can shut down entire sections of the country if they can attack the power grid and shut it down. That would cost tons of money nationwide because of business loss. Legal fees and penalties because customers may sue a business. They breach and get my credit card because your business didn't have proper cybersecurity. I could sue you, and then you got legal fees and all of that. Some businesses may choose to pay for extra protection if their customers have been hacked. So that's another cost. And then the sentimental value. If someone hacks your home computer and you lose all your family photos, videos, and all that stuff, that's just a devastation thing we can't put a price on. All right, let's look at some ways in coding that we can kind of help, like passwords and stuff. Creating new passwords can be a pain, especially when it comes to the laundry list of requirements. You got to have an uppercase letter, you got to have a lowercase letter, you got to have a symbol, you have one number, you got to have a special character, and hit enter with a drop of blood on your finger or something. No, the reason behind all the hassle is to prevent you from an even bigger hassle, which is identity theft. So don't fall victim to identity theft. The financial hardship and social impact of identity theft can be devastating. You got to protect your information with strong passwords to help prevent. Won't totally, but help. Victims of identity theft suffer from ruined credit, loss of reputation, significant stress, and all the legal proceedings that can happen. So here's some tips. Protect your personal devices with a password or a passcode. Everyone got to lock your phone these days. Secure any documents with important information like ID numbers, social security numbers. Don't have them laying around your house. Someone could break in, and identity theft could be a big issue. Have them locked in a safe or something. Do not share your usernames or passwords. Safeguard any financial data, bank account numbers, credit card numbers. Keep your health records private. Create safe never reuse passwords. Now that's hard in a day like times like we have now, where you have like 50 different places that want your password now. All the websites you shop at, you got to have a password. Any website. I mean, there's all kinds of places you have to put a username password these days. And it's hard to come up with different passwords and remember them all. Don't use names or dictionary words or phrases like 1, 2, 3, 4 ABCD. Don't do that. Don't use easy to guess words like your pet's name or your parent's name or your birth date. Use a mix of uppercase and lowercase and symbols and numbers. Like use a past phrase. Something like this is pretty cool. Pancakes with syrup. But look how they wrote it. It's got a at symbol instead of an A. It's got a capital W. It's got a 1 instead of an I. And it uses a $sign instead of an S. Pancakes with syrup. That's something easier to remember, but has lots of crazy stuff in it. So with Python, we can check password requirements. Here's some code. I'm going to copy this. Okay, define main. Here's a string, and we're going to call it a string. My Python string is uppercase. Now here's a command, print string dot, I know it says isupper, but it's is upper. Is this uppercase? That's what it's checking. Is the whole string uppercase? Is upper. And then there's is lower. I know it's I slower. No, is lower. Is that true? Is the entire string lowercase? Let's run this, see what it does. True, false, true, false. So true, this is uppercase. When it checked, it said, is the string uppercase, true or false? This says, is this string uppercase, true or false? It came back false. There are some characters that are uppercase, but if any character is lowercase, like if I go into my Python string, I'm going to change just the R to lowercase, just the R. Now it's false again. Just because I changed one thing. Because when it's checking is everything uppercase. So it only takes one to make that false. I go back and make that a capital R again. Now it's back to true. It has to be every single one if we're checking the string. And same thing with the lowercase. This one is true because every single one, but this has a couple of uppercase letters, so it comes back as false. All right, we have a Python guided activity with 3 examples working with passwords. I'm gonna copy it and put it on the bigger one up here. Easier to see. Okay, working with passwords. Here's our program. Checking password length. Password equals input. Please enter your password, and it says it should be between 6 and 12 characters. And then we have a variable that we're going to store the length of whatever we type. And this says if it's less than 6 or greater than 12, print your password's the wrong length, because I told you to go between 6 and 12. And then it says press any key to restart the program. Else print it's the correct length. So if I run this and I say my password is password, what a great password, right? It says your password is the correct length because it's between 6 and 12 characters. Now it's a terrible password. You should never allow that. But if I just say word, my password is word. It says press any key to restart the program now. Your password is the wrong length. So that just gives us a chance. If we were writing something asking for a password, that's how we could check to make sure it's an appropriate length that we set the guidelines for, quite simply. Let's look at this next example. This says, I'm going to put it in our bigger window. Okay, we've defined a function called pass mixed case. And it says letters equals input. Please enter in password. So you got to enter your password. And it's going to check. This doesn't check to see if everything is uppercase, lowercase or uppercase. It's just saying, is there a letter, any, So this command will say lower equals any letter lowercase for letter in letters. Now letters is our variable, so this is a variable name. So if we're checking all the letters, is there lowercase, is there uppercase? If there is, this will equal true. If it's not, it'll equal false. So now we're checking if not upper, which means if this is not true, that means it did not find an uppercase letter, and it will print invalid password. You have no uppercase letters. If this is false, not true, right? If it's not true, it did not find any lowercase. Else print good, your password has both upper and lowercase. So mixed case. Let's try this. Run it. Enter a password. I will say password in all caps. Invalid password, no lowercase characters detected. So this was fine. It found a letter that was uppercase, but this came back as false. Let's run it again. Let's take off the pass. We'll put all lowercase letters. Oh, it says now you have no uppercase letters. How about if I do every other one? Password. Perfect. It's got both upper and lowercase. So this is a nice string of code to help detect, do they have any uppercase or any lowercase letter? Okay, let's put this in here. Okay, this got a lot going on. We've created a function called menu. And in our menu, we can either check the length or we can check for upper and lowercase letters. So enter your choice in the menu. Selection, enter an integer, input your choice, 1 or 2. If it's 1, call the function called length. If it's 2, call the function called mixed case. Else print you didn't choose 1 or 2, right? So here's the length function we created now. Checking the password length. Enter your password between 6 and 12 characters. And this has that code that we had to make sure it's between 6 and 12. Then we have the mixed case function. This has the code to check to see if any letter is upper or lowercase. And then our main function just calls the menu. And the menu calls the other one. So when we run it, it runs the menu. And we're going to choose 1. Enter password. My password. So we hit 1 to check the length, and it says your password is the correct length. Okay, let's hit 2. My password. And it has both upper and lowercase because I capitalized the M and the P in my password. So we should run again just to check the length with Word. And it didn't like it. It says, nope, it's the wrong length. We should do my password in all capital letter. Oh, I didn't do a choice. Choose 2. Now my password in all capital letters. No lowercase case. So that just puts it all together. The third program takes the first program and the second program, combines them. You could change the program to where it checks both instead of having a menu to one and the other. You could enter a password and then check the length and check for upper and lowercase. You know, so there's many ways you could write that and combine those functions. So that is the end of this lesson. Oh, wait. Here's the assignment. Okay, 5 questions, multiple choice, all about the computer vulnerabilities that we just looked at. So fun stuff. We're getting into some neat things with cybersecurity because that's such a relevant topic these days with all the bad actors out there, all the black hat guys running around. So, all right, ladies, that's all we got for the week. So we'll see you next time. This should be a quick and easy this week, and have a great week. We'll see you later.